Hi, I'm going to try something new today. I'm going to talk through what I've been knitting and crocheting recently in the last month of October. And the reason is because I haven't gotten a chance to go to my usual craft circle, so I haven't gotten a chance to do show and tell recently. Second reason is that I got a new mic for work calls that I want to test out, but I cannot because I don't have any meetings. So I'm doing this instead, and I don't know, I just want to see if I like this. It seems like fun when I watch a lot of YouTube videos of people talking about their knitting and crocheting. Um, so yeah, so in October, I've made a few things. I made a lot of dishcloths shaped like fish cloths, if you will. So these ones, I've got 3 of these and 2 of these, which I actually made in September. And then I made these ones in October. And with these, I had a lot of cotton yarn left over from various places. I don't know what it is, but you just kind of accumulate cotton yarn over time. If you've do fiber hearts, people send it to you. You just wind up getting it for cheap. And I built up a little stash of cotton yarn that I wanted to use up, and I think they're really cute. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. I think I'm going to figure out ways to give them away. I think as a last resort, I might just hang them on strings over the fence with a sign that says free, please take a dishcloth if you want one, because I can't use this many fish. The last thing I did was that I wanted to try color pooling with one of the yarns, so I tried color pooling. This took about 3.5 hours, so this was so much fun, and as soon as I finished, I thought I wanted to try color pooling again in a larger format. So maybe I actually do have one more skein of cotton yarn that might be appropriate for color pooling, so maybe I'll try that. Yeah, that's my cotton yarn. So the next thing I did, I track my times, so I'm going to go over how long things took to, is I made this pair of socks. So these I started in September, and they took 26 hours total to do, and I spent about 18 hours working on them in October, finishing them up. So these I made for my friend. They're in a pretty thick sort of sport weight gauge, so I think they're more lounge socks than regular socks that she could wear in her shoes. I don't know. I always wear my hand knit socks as lounge socks. I don't wear them out of the house. But yeah, they're actually pretty similar to a pair that I made her in college, which were also made out of either sport weight or worsted weight. So yeah, they're inspired by that since she lost one of them and I wanted to replace them. Oh, and I knitted these 2 at a time on a very long needle. I've done that before, but not recently. So I got another super long needle to do that with for these socks. And I don't think that I'm going to do 2 socks on one needle again because it's just a little bit too much cord management. It winds up being a pain whenever you have to do, whenever you finish like a half row. So yeah, those are those 26 hours. Not bad. And yeah, that's it for finished objects. So things that are in progress. I've got a few things in progress. As soon as I finished my friend's socks, I started on another pair of socks. These are using Hobie's Halloween yarn. These are actually a sock yarn, so they're the appropriate weight. So around 66 stitches around. And I'm having fun working on them. What else about them? So I started them in October, and I've worked on them about 11 hours so far. And I've just gotten up to the gusset. So I'm doing a toe-up construction. So the next step is to do a gusset here to expand outwards until I'm ready to make the heel. So for the pattern, I'm doing a combination of 2 different patterns. So patterns that I'm pretty familiar with. So I use this book a lot. So I'm using this book for the overall construction from the toe up. I'm following the directions for that, but in place of one of the designs in there, I'm using an 11 stitch pattern for, I'm using an 11 stitch pattern for this kind of wavy thing across the front. So this is a self-striping yarn. I I always wind up getting self-striping yarns because I'm excited about the striping pattern and the colors, but then I get them and self-striping yarn, it often looks very weird against patterns that have like a strong vertical trend since the self-striping is always horizontal. So the patterns that I always wind up doing for the self-striping yarn are the chevron patterns that this book gives. And so I'm actually using this pattern for the self-striping yarn here. So yeah, those are my Halloween socks. I'm working on those. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm doing another thing with Hobie Halloween yarn. So I guess I just got excited about the special edition Halloween yarns because the colorways were interesting. So this one, I think it's called Freaky Nightmare, and what I'm doing is that I'm making a cardigan out of it. So this is about as far as I've gotten. I had to put a lot of thought into where I wanted the color to go on each piece. So I'm starting with the two front panels. So they'll be mostly a dark color, and then I'll either do, and then I'll either work on the back or the sleeves. But basically I want the color on each side to hit in about the same place. So since I started one front panel with a new skein, I'm going to start the other front panel with a second skein that I have of this, and then go from there. And so the last thing is that I want to talk about a couple of ideas that I have for next project. So these are things that I'm not close to working on yet, but because knitting and crocheting takes so much time, I like to really sit with the ideas for the projects that I might want to do in the future so that I can really figure out, okay, is this a viable idea? Is this a finished object that I or a friend of mine would actually want? So I wind up coming up with a lot of ideas and then writing them down and sitting on them for a while. So maybe I can talk about what I'm thinking about right now. So the first plan that I have, which is probably the most concrete because I've already been talking to a friend who might be a contender for taking this one off of my hands when I'm done, is that there's a D&D themed knit scarf. So what it is that someone produced like a really cool color chart for like a D&D themed scarf, which has like dragons and serpents and potion vials and familiars, basically lots of D&D iconography. And there's a friend and so I asked my D&D group, would anyone like the scarf if I made it? And someone did. So I'm probably going to be making this scarf for my friend Alex. So this is the main color that I'd initially thought I was going to use, and then I was going to pair it with white for the color work. So I only have one skein of this since I got it as a test. So I went online and I ordered what I thought were two more skeins of it, but I ordered it in I ordered it in the wrong color. So what I initially planned was more red, and this one's a purplish red because I didn't check. I thought I clicked on the right colorway, but apparently I didn't. So now I have this, so I'm going to need to email my friend to ask, is this color okay? And if not, I'll just order the correct one or another color of his choosing. I haven't actually heard back from him when I emailed last. So we'll see what happens with that. I am really excited to do the color work pattern. It's a double knitting pattern. So the scarf would be reversible on each side, which is very appealing. So the other thing that I'm thinking about, just throw this on the floor. The other thing I'm thinking about is that I've got just kind of a residue of this sort of linen cotton blend left over from a different project that I did. And so I need to do something with it. So linen cotton, I wouldn't want to use this for like kitchen towels or anything like that. So I was thinking about doing a bandana. I have a pattern for the hollow bandana that I bought for a different yarn, which wound up not working out with the structure of that yarn. So I'm thinking about doing a hollow bandana with this. It's a pattern that's got like a lot of really cool holes over it. And it's a triangular one. So since I have two colors left, I think I might knit half of it going one side of the triangle with the blue and then the other half with the white. And that would be easy to organize since I would just knit until I was out of the blue, which I have less of, and then start decreasing on the other side with the white. So I'm not sure if that will yield a big enough bandana, but it's an idea, so I'll think about that some more. All right. Thanks for listening if you did. Bye.